Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Pierre Guillet. I'll be your commentator tonight, along with my co-commentator, Josh Palmer. Josh, tell us what we can expect to see here.
Well, here tonight, Pierre, at UWC, we've got a fantastic international card. We've got a great combination of up-and-coming guys looking to make a name for themselves, as well as some of the guys who've given us some of the greatest fights we've ever seen here in Southend.
What I like to see tonight, though, is those guys with no names, the guys that are just beginning. They're going to come out here with heart, determination, and willing to actually put on the performance of a lifetime. Why? Because they want the UWC crowd and the UK MMA crowd to notice them. And with that, we're going to start the action with Ian the Machine Freeman.
Good evening, Southend-on-Sea! Fantastic, welcome to Southend Leisure Centre. My name is Ian the Machine Freeman. I am your host for this evening. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here to see Southend and the rest of the country best fighters in mixed martial arts. One more question to ask. Are you ready for the action? Ladies and gentlemen, our first bout of the evening. This is an amateur middleweight bout. Two young guys, 18 years old. So please welcome your first fighter to the ring. He weighed in at 82 kilograms. He weighed in at 82 kilograms, making his debut from BKK Fight Team. Please welcome Martin Fox. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome your second fighter to the ring. He also weighed in at 82 kilograms. He has a record of 1 win and no losses. Representing TSG from Grays, Jordan Wright.
Now, Josh, this is a very interesting matchup between Martin Fox and Jordan Wright. Martin we're familiar with. He trains with Jack Mason out of BKK in Colchester. And, of course, fighting Jordan Wright, a local town boy from TSG. Big kick there from Wright, checked by Fox. Big foot jab from Wright.
Yeah, this is, of course, an amateur rules fight, so there'll be no headshots standing or on the ground.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Wright's really throwing that kick with some mean intentions, though. And again, he goes, and again, Fox checks. Now, Fox needs to make sure he keeps his hands up. However, saying that, this is an amateur bout, so no headshots.
It's certainly interesting to see how both guys are aiming to keep it standing at the moment, given that both of these fighters are potentially, or are typically grapplers, should we say.
Now, Foxy with the leg trip right there off the catch. However, immediately looking to better his position, but the TSG fighter Wright immediately goes to that guard. Now, that's what you expect out of a TSG fighter, especially when you've got a black belt Bazota at the helm.
Yeah, Dan Bazota really teaching these guys, fantastic jiu-jitsu for mixed martial arts. One thing they all look for as soon as they hit that guard is that overhook on that left arm. That's what we can see Jordan's got now, almost feeding up for a bit of rubber guard with his foot. But obviously having his head pressed up against the cage is going to, hinder him a little here, and he's doing a good job of turning away from that.
Now, what Foxy did, which is his nickname, Foxy, what he did that I found very good there was, even for an amateur, he's posturing up. He's trying to keep that foot from coming up and underneath the chin, because you have, of course, submissions from there. Walk us through the submission that he was going for.
Yeah, he's obviously got a lot of submission options when he brings that foot up, as you can see doing now. It's typically called mission control. What he's looking to do is bring it over for an omoplata, possibly a go-go platter. There's obviously also triangle and armbar setups anytime you're isolating one of the arms of your opponent. But one really useful thing about that foot is it's incredibly powerful to break the opponent's posture down. We can see he's looking for a go-go platter here. Switching for the omoplata. Nice rolling defense by Foxy.
Now, what Wright did that was very important there is he didn't stay on his back. He immediately moved to top side position, which was set up from that omoplata. Foxy rolled out, trying to better his position. However, now Wright finds himself in the dominant top position.
Yeah, really nice use of threatening a submission to force the sweep by Jordan Wright. And he is predominantly a top game player, and this is obviously where he finds himself now.
Now, I did talk to Foxy before the fight, and he said he was a little bit more nervous about this fight than his first one, just because with TSG, you bring a lot of clout to the cage. Very beautiful setup there. However, Wright moves into Foxy's half guard.
Yeah, he was a little bit telegraphed and a little bit wide with that leg, and Martin Fox able to catch him in half guard.
Now, Fox was able to get his, we call that donkey kicking. And basically what he did is put his both feet into the hip area of Wright, and he pushed him off, and now that finds both fighters in top position. However, as soon as I say that, Foxy goes for a double leg takedown, and again, Wright goes right back to that rubber guard.
Yeah, Martin Fox needs to, as Jordan attempts that rubber guard, he needs to start shuffling his shoulders forward and try and free them up, because I have to say Jordan Wright putting this to excellent use here in this round.
Now, would you say that Foxy would be better off moving the hips down across the shin towards the knee and trying to pass that or trap that leg?
It can be a little dangerous, obviously. The main thing to watch when your opponent is bringing their leg up for a rubber guard is that you don't put your hand on the mat. As soon as you put a hand on the mat, the limb can be isolated, and that's when the problem starts happening.
Now, this move, the rubber guard, was made famous by Eddie Bravo out in the States. And I'll tell you what, that guy, he's transcended mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu. In fact, I think we saw one of his moves, the twister, not too long ago.
Yeah, Chang Sung Jung pulling that off in the UFC, first one ever. Lovely bit of jiu-jitsu to watch.
And I'll tell you what, if anybody here at UWC pulls off a twister, that will be on the highlight reels forever.
That's it, you'll hear us screaming several counties away.
So again, we have a Foxy, a BKK fighter out of, it's Colchester, I believe, in the top position, fighting the TSG fighter Wright on the bottom. Now, how do you call that round?
Well, it's a very close round because obviously it was spent predominantly on the ground, so you have to give a much higher weighting to that. Both fighters having top position at one point or another. It's a very close round to call. I wouldn't necessarily want to be a judge for this one.
No, not for that one. But I'll tell you what, I give the edge for takedowns to Fox, and I also give the submission attempts and ground control to Wright. So again, does it nullify it out? We don't know. We have to see, I'd like to see the judges' scorecards after that first round. And you have guys, both of these guys will get last-minute instructions from their corners. If you're in the corner of Fox, I'm saying, if you're going to take the guy down, watch for that rubber guard. Make sure you posture immediately, because as soon as he gets that foot up and out, you can back out. Yeah,
I think you're absolutely spot on there, Pierre. If he can score the takedowns again and then look to avoid that rubber guard and, use his posture to pass, I think it's a good recipe for pressing forward in this fight.
But I'll tell you what, it's a testament to TSG. That rubber guard looked amazing. Good leg kick by Wright again, the TSG fighter. And the thing about it, this is an amateur bout. Again, it'll be 2 4-minute rounds. And what do you think the nerves are for both of these guys?
Well, first fight of the night, Pierre, obviously, both guys relatively inexperienced in the grand scheme of things, so nerves are going to certainly play a part, but I have to say, having spoken to the two fighters earlier, Jordan Wright was by far the calmer of the two.
And like I said, Foxy, he trains hard. I've seen him in training, and big, huge cross face from Fox. He wanted no part of that takedown attempt from Wright. But and I'm sure both guys will have trained very hard again, UWC, they go out and look for the talent, and these guys could be tomorrow's future stars.
Yeah, now Martin Fox has got a really good left underhook here he can use to shovel back up, but as you mentioned, that crossface driving right across the nose, you can really do a lot of damage and control your opponent with that.
And for anybody who's been crossface, you definitely know how uncomfortable that is. And where the head goes, the body follows. Now you see Wright trying to accomplish a single leg, maybe switch over to a possible high crotch. However, he is basically just bulled back against the cage by Fox.
Very similar to what we call a 100% sweep, levering under the arm and using that to turn your opponent round.
Now, I find with the 100% sweep, when they get that arm high, the one thing I like to do is I like to go for a fireman's carry straight off of that.
Yeah, Kataguruma, lovely bit of judo.
Really works well. However, nice fake to a shot attempt. However, Wright saw that coming. He got the 50%. Excuse me.
Got the underhook in there. Double underhooks now for Jordan Wright.
It's the recession, so we're going to take it down half. But now both guys, you know what? Both guys are really impressing me with the level of technique on the stand-up as well as on the ground. And again, right back to that high rubber guard. Now look at this. He has a possible double.
This is actually what we call crackhead control in the 10th planet system, using obviously both limbs to control your opponent's head. What I really liked was how quick and how flexible he was able to really whip that leg up to control the posture. But, you know, Martin doing a good job of shuffling forward. But again, that overhook and up comes the leg, looking to secure the second.
Now, it's funny because different moves or different setups will have different names. You call it crackhead control. I've always been taught that that's called top shelfing because you shelf both of the arms. And again, when you extend the arms with that crackhead control or the top shelf, you have either arm choice to pick from for an arm bar.
Searching for a Kimura here is Jordan Wright.
Now, I'd be interested in to see how judges score that. You have one guy going for the submission, the other guy staying active with the shots to the body. So again, that's judge's decision.
Well, the one thing they'll have to weigh up, Pierre, is how close did the submission attempts come. That's really when an active fighter from the bottom can really turn the round around. Otherwise, you tend to see judges lean more towards the fighter on top.
Now you see that he's going for a Kimura, which is a shoulder lock.
He really needs to start using his hip to really bump out Martin's arm and free it up. Just trying to lever with his own arm strength is not going to do him as much good as if he really involves the hips and all his body weight.
And the interesting that you say that, because when you're more stationary, he's able to put more pressure to secure his own arm in a certain position, whereas you're bouncing, creating that energy. It also creates that space to rip that arm free or that hand free from grabbing your own shorts or locking around your opponent's leg. Triangle body lock there from Wright, the TSG fighter, and the BKK fighter on top, Martin Fox. Now, guys, this is how UWC gets down. If there's lack of action, guess what? You're back on the feet.
Yeah, good stand-up from the referee there.
Yeah, and I tell you what, with the sport, big takedown attempt, and he scores again. And that's the third or fourth takedown that Martin Fox has connected on, and it goes to the decision from the judges. And I'm going to be very interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I think very strong second round there for Martin Fox, securing the takedown, securing the top position. I think it's really going to come down to how the judges scored that first round. I think we're either going to see a draw or a win for the BKK fighter here.
I'm not one to put my money where my mouth is because I've said one way and went totally the opposite way, but I will say that this is one of the premier organizations to find these, the UK's future stars. Both of these guys are looking to make a name not only here at the UWC, but they want to make a ripple in the pond both here and in the UK. You have fighters like Dan Hardy, you have your Paul Daly's, and they started off with these grassroots promotions like your UWCs.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for these fighters going the distance. Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 rounds of action, the judges have scored this bout a majority draw. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to Martin Fox and Jordan Wright. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next bout is a semi-professional bout. So please welcome your first fighter.